Back to her old tricks, WNBA waiting for someone to lose an eye before they do something.
Is the WNBA facing a crossroads after DiJonai Carrington's latest on-court antics? Her name has become synonymous with controversy after a string of aggressive fouls, none more shocking than the viral ponytail pull that sent social media into a frenzy. Clips of her dragging an opponent by the hair made the rounds on every platform, sparking real-time debates about what's acceptable in pro basketball and where the league should draw the line.
Check this out right here. And she grabs the player by the ponytail, yanks her to the ground.
But the story doesn't stop with one play. This is just the latest in a string of eyebrow-raising moments from Carrington. She's nearly injured her own teammates, left #1 pick Paige Bueckers in a vulnerable spot, and was even caught last season swiping at Caitlin Clark's face. The pattern has analysts and fans alike asking whether she's simply physical, or if she's crossing into territory that threatens player safety and the WNBA's image.
It's funny, after, of course, what we saw last year, and of course, this was the eye gouge from hell, where DiJonai Carrington tried to take her fingernails and scoop them out of Caitlin Clark's skull.
This is the same thing she did to Caitlin Clark. Her behavior, time after time again, is the same. This isn't something that happens in basketball. This isn't a basketball play.
The most controversial twist? The league actually overturned one of her 2 flagrant fouls, raising even more questions about how seriously they're taking these incidents. Is the WNBA quietly ignoring risky behavior, or just hoping it goes away? That single decision has left fans wondering if player safety is really the league's top priority, or if some stars get special treatment when things go too far.
I think we'll be able to see how hard the foul is right here. That's a hard foul, and she does get her in the face.
We are exactly how many games into the WNBA season for the Dallas Wings? We're 3 games in. 3 games in. And DiJonai Carrington has already tried to take somebody's eyeball out of their skull.
Let's break down the play that ignited a full-blown controversy, because this wasn't your average scuffle. During a heated stretch between the Dallas Wings and Los Angeles Sparks, DiJonai Carrington grabbed Sarah Ashley Barker's ponytail in plain sight, yanking her violently to the floor. The crowd's gasp said it all. Every replay only made it more obvious. The footage spread like wildfire, every pause and zoom highlighting just how deliberate the move looked. It was the kind of moment that demands league intervention, not just Twitter outrage.
There's not a world
if she would have had extension
where that is not premeditated, pre-planned. She looked up. She said, "Oh, look at that!
Whoa.
Look at that ponytail. Yeah, let me yank." How about I keep it real? Let me yank the white girl to the ground.
What happened next only made things worse. Instead of issuing a harsh penalty, the officials shockingly downgraded what appeared to be an obvious flagrant foul to a simple loose ball foul. The call drew immediate disbelief, both from fans in the arena and viewers online. The replay looped across highlight reels, with everyone from TV analysts to casual fans wondering how such an act could earn anything less than an ejection. Suddenly, the league's officiating and standards were under a glaring spotlight.
I mean, what are we doing? Is this a professional sport or not? I think we're legitimately starting to wonder and ask these questions.
Disbelief turned to outrage as social media erupted. Memes and hot takes poured in, with even Olympic commentators mocking the officiating. If those were extensions, they'd still be lying on the hardwood, one remarked. The Brick Center's social channels fanned the flames, posting the video with biting captions. How is this not an ejection? With every viral clip, the incident became less about one player and more about the league's credibility, or lack thereof, in handling these high-profile moments.
Look, I don't condone fighting on the court, but this team has a real issue. This league has a real issue getting their own teammates' backs. It feels like so many of these players are all out for themselves. And it is wild.
But this wasn't just an internet flashpoint. Fans took their outrage beyond retweets, swarming message boards, calling into radio shows, and demanding action from the league. If the refs keep letting this slide, someone's gonna get seriously hurt, warned one caller. The debate kept growing, pulling in Carrington's entire track record, undercutting Gabby Williams, hitting Skylar Diggins in the head, a whole history of pushing physical boundaries. The hair pulling was just the latest entry in a file getting too thick to ignore.
Back to her old tricks, WNBA waiting for someone to lose an eye before they do something.
The uproar only intensified when the WNBA's disciplinary decisions came to light. Last season, after Carrington racked up 2 flagrant fouls, the league shockingly rescinded one. For critics, that was the last straw. Why is the WNBA protecting Carrington at the expense of player safety? Became the question on every podcast and timeline. The lack of a real punishment for the hair pull fueled anger that dangerous, reckless plays might be quietly swept under the rug, especially if a star player is involved.
Now, her behavior is completely unacceptable on so many levels. I mean, would you want to play basketball with somebody with fake nails poking you in the eye? I don't think so.
Hey, weird. I mean, she's poking people in the eye like Ric Flair on the Von Erichs back in '83. I mean, really, I mean, what are we doing? It wasn't even that dangerous for them. I mean, seriously.
What began as a controversy around Carrington's style of play quickly morphed into something much bigger. The conversation shifted from her personal reputation to the very standards of the WNBA. Commentators, players, and fans started to wonder aloud, does this league even take its own rules seriously? If aggressive behavior like this can go unpunished, what does that say about the league's commitment to professionalism or to the safety of its athletes?
Has been on a crime spree. That's right, folks. She has been on a crime spree, robbing the WNBA blind, masquerading as a professional basketball player when in reality, she is just a reckless athlete that understands the concept of basketball.
It didn't take long for the debate to grow into a full-on crisis of identity for the WNBA. Every lenient call, every penalty reduced or rescinded became a talking point about the league's priorities. Fans and former players worried aloud that if the WNBA continues to let obvious infractions slide, it could poison the culture from the inside out, especially for younger players watching and learning. What kind of example does it set when the line between hard-nosed play and reckless danger gets blurred right on national TV?
Onto something, realized it was the hair, and yanked. She yanked you, like she went back down faster as soon as she grabbed the hair. Like, come on. Like, at what stage does the WNBA have to step in? Because the WNBA are rescinding technical fouls on a player who should already be suspended. DiJonai Carrington has committed 4 blatant flagrant fouls this year, and 1 that was 50-50 that got rescinded.
In the fallout of these repeated controversies, DiJonai Carrington has transformed into one of the most divisive figures in women's basketball. Depending on who you ask, she's either the definition of competitive grit or the poster child for undisciplined aggression. For a growing number of fans, Carrington's highlights are starting to look more like cautionary tales than celebrations of hustle. And every time her name trends on social media, it seems to trigger a new round of calls for league action, each more urgent and exasperated than the last.
Jason Whitlock, he's in rare form. DiJonai Carrington is going to seriously injure a player in the WNBA. She once again uses her fingernails to scrape across the face of an opposing player. The WNBA supports and panders towards DiJonai's form of bigotry.
Take last season's notorious eye rake incident, for example. As Caitlin Clark rose into national stardom, the stakes in every matchup went up, but nobody expected the viral moment that unfolded in a split second. Carrington lunging, her hand swiping across Clark's face as she drove up the court. Cameras zoomed in as Clark recoiled, clutching her eye. Analysts rewound the tape again and again. Was it reckless defense or something more intentional? Whatever your take, one thing was clear: the league's new golden ticket had been put at risk, and the basketball world was not about to let it slide.
Clark was so lucky with how hard she got hit in the eye. She was so lucky. And by the way, I still believe DiJonai Carrington tried to hit Caitlin Clark in the head.
What followed was a wave of outrage that felt bigger than any single game. Commentators broke down the play frame by frame, highlighting just how dangerous and unnecessary the contact was. Twitter exploded with fans demanding a suspension, while highlight shows replayed the moment on an endless loop. Even those usually on the fence about WNBA drama took a side, because this wasn't just a hard foul, it was the kind of move that could end a season. In a league desperate for positive attention, this was the last headline anyone wanted.
Harassed by Carrington, finds Boston. Clark gets hit in the face by Carrington and is down. Caitlin Clark is down. No call as Connecticut takes advantage, and Clark is still down after taking a shot following the pass to Boston. Clark in pain after.
The league's official response, when it finally came, only deepened the frustration. Instead of a new penalty or meaningful suspension, fans got a boilerplate reminder about sportsmanship and existing guidelines. No consequences, just a statement and a shrug. Sports talk shows went into overdrive, with hosts and callers alike questioning whether the WNBA cared more about public relations than about keeping its stars safe. The message from the league office felt like a missed layup, wide open and blown when it mattered most.
Someone is going to get seriously hurt at the hands of DiJonai Scissor Hands. I'm laughing, but it's really sort of comical that this just keeps happening.
DiJonai Carrington didn't even have to touch her. I watched it a few times and wanted to make a play on the ball, but this was definitely an incredible reckless play that could have seriously injured 3 people. Look like another fingernail to the eye scenario. That is what it is. Another fingernail to the eye scenario.
By this point, the issue wasn't just about Carrington or even about Clark. It was about whether the league itself was capable of enforcing its own rules. Why, fans asked, should anyone believe in the WNBA's commitment to player welfare when the most obvious fouls are ignored or quietly downgraded? The refrain echoed through every post-game press conference. Why does the WNBA keep letting this happen? Every silence, every lack of action felt like an answer fans didn't want to hear.
Look at that. Look at the steal on that, folks. Look at where there's no way. You'll never in a million quadrillion years convince me that's not some intentional eye gouge situation going on in the. Look at that. Look at the fingers are actually. Let me make sure. Let me bring, because I can't there. Let me make sure the fingers are actually cupped around like that.
Look, her hand's on her back. Her hand is on her back. She's intentionally pushing her, and now she's about to hit her. This was intentional. Her hand's on her back.
The foul is right here. That's a
wow.
foul.
Paige was already right there.
And she does get her in the face when she's coming down.
That was a purpose shot.
Now, the narrative has shifted to the very top. Instead of defending a single player, fans and journalists are looking straight at Commissioner Kathy Engelbert and her leadership team. Her office's decision to rescind one of Carrington's flagrant fouls last year was now back in the spotlight, fueling claims that star power gets more protection than basic fairness. Critics are asking whether the league has a backbone, or whether it's willing to sacrifice its credibility to avoid controversy with its brightest names.
It is a very relevant topic because now you have got posts going viral in the general basketball world, and this type of stuff is just a bad look for the league. It is a bad look for the league. It is. This type of stuff is a bad look for the league.
Every time the league wipes away a penalty or softens a suspension, the anger grows louder. A viral post summed up the mood. Suspend her or resign, Commissioner. That wasn't just one fan's frustration, it was the voice of thousands, amplified by analysts and even some former WNBA players. The sense of injustice runs deeper than one call. It's about a pattern, a perception that star treatment trumps the rule book. Every time the league takes the easy way out, it chips away at trust built up over years.
It is a very relevant topic because now you have got posts going viral in the general basketball world, and this type of stuff is just a bad look for the league. It is a bad look for the league. It is. This type of stuff is a bad look for the league.
And it's not just fans who are keeping receipts. Opposing players, some of whom have been on the receiving end of Carrington's high-risk plays, are starting to speak up too. Side-by-side videos compile a highlight reel of elbows, undercuts, and headshots, making it impossible for anyone to call these fouls isolated incidents. Each time the league downgrades or erases a penalty everyone saw on national TV, it's not just a PR misstep, it's a message. If you're marketable, you're untouchable. That's not trust, that's doubt spreading fast.
Since you seem to think this kind of play is acceptable, not to this play, but many others, you should be held accountable when someone is seriously injured. And it's going to happen.
The timing couldn't be worse, as the WNBA rides a wave of new fans and sponsors, thanks largely to breakout stars like Caitlin Clark. Each player's safety controversy steals the spotlight from real on-court brilliance. Instead of highlight dunks and buzzer beaters, debates about the league's priorities dominate the airwaves. Is the WNBA weak and embarrassing? One analyst asked, and the question stuck. Some pundits are now even floating the possibility of a season-long ban for Carrington, just to prove the league can actually enforce standards. The fact that it's taken this long to even discuss major discipline says as much about league culture as it does about Carrington's conduct.
If the referees just did their jobs, DiJonai Carrington would have a 1-game suspension, right? If the referee in the league did their jobs, DiJonai Carrington, and not for just this. And by the way, if this was it, there are sports leagues in the world that, with this replay going out, would give her a 1-game suspension. The NBA is one. If the referees missed it in real time and something like this started going, not even semi-viral, but like went around the league and they're like, you know what, it's actually putting a player in danger, it's a 1-game suspension.
Make no mistake, this isn't just about one aggressive defender. The WNBA's entire reputation is on trial. Every lenient ruling, every soft suspension risks pushing away a core fan base that's finally growing after years of hard work. With every new controversy, trust evaporates, replaced by doubt, frustration, and a sense that the league doesn't know how to handle its own success. The big question now, will safety finally come before image? Every player, every fan, every sponsor is watching closely. The next call could change the WNBA's future for years to come.
That's a full-blown eye rake. She was trying to injure. At WNBA pretends to be concerned about players. They have zero tolerance policy on mean words. But they allow DiJonai Carrington to play with daggers for fingernails.
Because at this point, the evidence is everywhere. Carrington's most egregious moments, hair pulls, eye rakes, undercuts, live on in viral video reels, replayed by angry fans and sports shows alike. Yet none of these plays have brought a real, lasting consequence. The league's next move is more than just about one player. It's a crossroads between credibility and complacency. Comment sections and post-game panels are demanding a true reckoning. Is it time for a real suspension, or will the WNBA continue to protect its stars at the expense of everyone else? All eyes are on Commissioner Engelbert. Her decision won't just affect one headline. It will define what kind of league the WNBA becomes. Stick around, because the story is just getting started.